everyone, and welcome to episode 30 of the Heart Space podcast with myself, Jasmine, and my wonderful co-host here, Alicia.
Kia ora, guys.
And as you can see, we have a very special guest here today, Elizabeth from the podcast Rediscovering the Voice Within. Welcome, sister, and thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you. Kia ora, everyone. Thank you, Jasmine and Alicia, for this honor. And feeling very blessed today. Thanks for having me.
No worries.
No worries. And how have you been, sister?
I have, to be honest, I've just been taking things day by day, and that's for me when I'm going through something.
Yeah.
There's a lot.
It's what's gotten me through the last couple of years,
and there's a lot of heavy energy at the moment in the collective. And one thing I love about the work that you do and what you speak about in your own podcast is like just being able to heal through these times and, you know, rediscovering your strength. And one quote that I really liked on your page was you're helping people find their wings. So yeah, do you want to talk about what the work that you've been doing in the podcast and, you know, what your goal is and what you're trying to achieve with helping people on their healing journey?
Thanks, Jasmine. So I have a community, I'd like to call it. Well, it started out as a business called SOAR Health and Wellness, SOAR. And really that just was born out of my own awakening and my own healing journey. And it's been over 5 years of doing this work. And it's been a journey, really, because I started it as a business, as a company. And it was like I just woke up from my slumber. All I saw was wings. And I knew that, I was already on this journey. And for me, a lot of gifts were activated when I started massaging. And that's one of the first things that I rediscovered on this journey, and through touch and through activating, those, these are gifts that we've carried through many lifetimes. But through massage and that I was able to realize what my purpose was, and SOAR was the embodiment of that. Like I felt like after being asleep for all these years, it's like I just had a light bulb moment, and this is what you're going to be doing, and all I saw was the vision, but nobody tells you how you're going to do it. So here I am 5 years later, doing a podcast as well called Rediscovering the Voice Within, and all these different aspects and extensions of me, of us, is me showing up for myself every day, doing the work, doing the inner work. And for me, there is no job greater than that, than the one that you do on yourself.
100%.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more.
Healing yourself and through doing the inner work, the domino ripple effect on. So health and wellness, I was so naive, I was so excited, it's so innocent. I was like, I'm gonna heal the world one person at a time, just really a reflection of where I was at the time, but also how we are groomed and programmed as a people. From birth, we are groomed to seek external validation. So from birth, from as soon as we're born into the system, we are traumatized. So I want to touch on that as well, because I feel like, I know helping you find your wings is very vague, but that is my mission. And for me, every day that I turn up and I show up for myself, I am doing the work. I am, talking to you is part of that work, part of creating those ripples and helping whoever needs to hear or see this to awaken. And I used to feel like part of my purpose was waking people up, but I've learned over time that that was not my purpose. I feel like that's part of the awakening journey. You feel a heavy responsibility, to carry others, but we're here to serve ourselves. We're here to awaken from our slumber. But speaking on trauma, I just wanted to quickly touch. Sorry if I'm going on a tangent. Just excited. Trauma, like anything, as a healer, I've always seen the bigger picture. You show me something, to see the full picture in order to see clearly. So as a healer, we try to see people in their wholeness.
Yes.
And that's something that I try to encourage people. You're not broken, you're not traumatized, you're not doing the best that you can with what you've got. But what people don't realize is we've been set up to fail from the get-go. So I feel like with the work that I do at Soul Health and Wellness, and just with the work that I do on myself, it's just about remembering, it's hard to explain or show people the spiritual aspects, and talking about trauma, trauma, the root word of trauma, the etymology of trauma is Greek, and in Greek it means to wound or to pierce. So if you think about it, it does not make sense for us as a people to be traumatized, that's not why we're here. But when you start seeing the bigger picture, you realize, that we can talk about trauma all day and go around in circles, but, is anyone really talking about the solutions?
Yes.
Is anyone giving
good point
any solid, practical, what's the word?
Tools?
Practical. Tools. Tools. Yes, tools, but you can give people tools. You can drag a horse to water, but if you don't show them, or if they're not aware of who they really are, then it's just pointless. We're just going to keep going around in circles.
Yeah.
But so it's really frustrating, and for me with this work, it's really disheartening and discouraging. But what gives me hope is that just looking at the bigger picture and looking at where we are as a collective, and and like I said, looking within. There's a great quote that was I'm sure it was Carl, is it Jung? I'm not sure if that's how you pronounce it, but he said, "He who looks within looks outside, dreams, and he who looks within awakens." So that's something that has always given me courage, to keep going. regardless of what life throws at us, knowing that everything that we're going through, we signed up for. Everything that we're going through is for us and not against us. And to not be swayed or misled by what we're seeing in the physical. And
I can completely resonate.
Yeah, so I feel like a lot of my work is
your whole korero there. Especially when you were talking about feeling that responsibility when you first awaken to awaken others. Because when I first woke up, I thought that was my purpose, to get the word out there. But I think you have to redirect it back to yourself and do that inner work first. And just by doing that inner work and healing, you're helping the collective, because you're sending out this ripple effect that it's okay to, show up and feel like you're not worthy, but and not feel seen. But once you start to put the pieces back together and rediscover who you are from the inside out, that's your sense of purpose.
And I just want to say that is exactly where I'm at now. Like I've been posting online, I've been going to the protests, I've been doing all this like to try and wake people up, like this is my purpose, I am meant to wake people up. And sure, I've woken a couple of people up. I feel like my job's done there, because then that sets off a ripple effect. And in the same time, what I've done is I've had a huge shift in perspective, like perception. Everything's just changed for me, and I've actually been forced to go within. And then I realized, like you said, Elizabeth, like that first part of the awakening is when we think we're here to wake people up, but it's actually that self-discovery of who we truly are and what healing we need to do. And that has more of a ripple effect than anything, because when people see you showing up for yourself, it gives them courage to show up for themselves. Like, it's okay to do that. Be your own cheerleader, be your own inspiration, those kind of things. And it's not deemed as ego. It's not being selfish. It's like, that's how we nurture ourselves. And we give our self-validation rather than getting validation externally. Like you said, since we've been born, we've been seeking it elsewhere, when we just need to validate ourselves and show up for ourselves every day. Like, that's doing the work 100%. And that's where I'm at now. Yeah. So I just wanted to, I love these kind of conversations.
So when you do you work one-on-one with your clients? Do you have clients come in that you work one-on-one with, or how do you go about doing
sometimes, but I don't really advertise my work. So I feel like over the years, for me, a big block, if that's one way to look at it, but for me, one thing that I've had to work on is my feelings towards systems. And for me, doing this work, trying to, it's been a journey of trying to accept my purpose as well, because I have vivid memories as a child of knowing exactly what it is that I'm meant to be doing, but not understanding and not having the guidance or having the ability to express myself in a way, and I was raised in the islands. I was raised in Tonga, and being raised in Tonga and most of the Pacific Islands, very, very heavy indoctrination in regards to the religion. So having this gift and having that on one hand, I was fearful without even realizing that I was. And, everything kind of comes full circle later on, and you make sense of why you feel the way you do and so forth. And because I didn't understand what I was experiencing at the time, it was hard. So having to deal with that indoctrination, being raised as a Christian, being raised Roman Catholic, and going through the system myself, going through school and struggling, and feeling that I was a failure all my life, and feeling what's wrong with me, you know, and having that projected to you that you're slow. You know, I've been told most of my life that I was slow. And, you know, just having those feelings, you know, it's hard enough to navigate life, feeling that you're not enough and that there's something wrong with you. You know, and you're trying to find your way.
Yeah.
But you know, that was part of the struggle for me, is unlearning everything that I had been taught. And that is a big part of the healing process, is you know, that you're not. And yeah, so
I just want to
rediscovering myself.
You are so brave for, you know, sharing your story and coming on here. And, you know, someone will be watching this and will identify with, you know, what you're going through, and that, you know, just being called those hurtful things as a child. I think a lot of people, especially at this point in time in 2022, are, I guess, healing from those deep inner child wounds too, you know, and it takes a lot of courage and a lot of bravery to really, you know, face that head on and deal with it and heal from it, because like we said before, it's like this ripple effect out into the collective. Like when we do this healing and we're able to release these emotions that no longer serve us, I guess, we're able to live at our full potential too, without having that voice of self-doubt in your head, you know, because it's one thing I can resonate with, is, you know, I always was very doubtful of myself because I had very critical parents that would always critique me or, you know, put me down, like unknowingly, you know, like especially with, I think a lot of girls, I don't know if it's with every mother and daughter relationship, but there's a lot of pressure to like keep your weight down too, you know, like my mum would always point out, you know, you shouldn't be eating that and you shouldn't be, you know, doing this, and that really stayed with me. And it wasn't until she did it in front of one of my friends, a guy mate, that he said, like, he actually said that's not right, but I had normalized it. You know, it was normal behavior to talk like that. So like going forward with my own daughter, I'm always careful with the language I use. Yeah, what were you saying, sis?
And oh, sorry. So I was trying to answer your question about whether I was, you know, taking any one-on-one clients. I haven't been. The last couple of years have been a lot of deep healing for me and working with the shadow. So I was trying to get there, but got there in the end. And I feel like that's the, you know, that's the one way of honoring the self, is to taking that time to 100%. Just heal and you know, work on the shadow aspects of ourselves. And so that's why the podcast came in perfectly, because I felt like I needed to heal my throat chakra as well, you know, and here I was thinking and feeling that a podcast would help me to facilitate, you know, some type of healing for others by sharing their stories, not knowing that it was actually healing myself as well in the process. Wow. So that's how powerful it is through someone else sharing their story. And for me, it's through sharing, you know, storytelling and sharing is you know, it's not nothing. It's not is integral to who we are, but in the systems that we live in, they are forcing us to separate ourselves from each other and from the self, and you know, separation from the land. You know, that's another way of trauma. So you were talking about your mom and how she, you know, your parents being critical of you, that they, you know, in their eyes, you know, they felt like they were doing the best thing for you by trying to protect you. So But that's a trauma response, and we're all just heavily traumatized people, traumatizing each other and repeating the cycle every day.
Yep. Yep.
I feel like there's a lot of cycle breakers though in the next generation too.
It's up to us now, and I'm seeing
definitely.
It's up to us now. Like I'm a cycle breaker. Jazz, you're a cycle breaker. Elizabeth, you're breaking cycles. And I know a shit ton of people that are making damn sure that they are breaking the cycles so that their children don't have to go through the same shit. And that is what I see us doing as a collective. And I can see that it's mostly awakened people as well. And they're the ones that are like, hold up, like I'm going to change this shit so the next generation coming through don't have to deal with this. And that is healing the collective. That's healing the world, really. Like, because Elizabeth, you said, like, I'm going to be that person to heal, the world. And I felt like, oh, I can do this. I can help people. And, but it's like helping that one person, helping yourself, inspiring others to help themselves. And then it's just a knock-on effect, ripple effect collectively. And I know that there is millions of people doing the work that we're doing right now, and that
finding our wings, or we've found them.
and it might not seem like that we are. Like, it may not seem like when you look outside or you watch the news or you see in the media just all that kind of stuff, it kind of looks like nothing's really happening, but there's a shit ton of healing being done worldwide, and we're going to see that impact real soon. Like, I think in the next few years, like, things are going to be changed up, and you're going to see a different people, because they're going through the healing themselves.
Definitely.
Yeah.
And I feel like as a collective, and especially mainstream, Western, what do you call it? Just unpacking everything. Western world.
Yeah.
But like, colonization, people need to remember that that each and every one of us is indigenous to a land. It's not just brown people, so I feel like there's a lot of shame. There's a lot of heavy shame that's being carried by our, Pākehā, European brothers and sisters, and that's one thing that, New Zealand is a small country. And one thing that I don't really hear enough is the shame that is carried on by our Pākehā, European, for lack of a better word. I don't like labels, and that's a Western thing too. Patriarchal society thing, labeling this ADHD, or this is a,
bipolar,
she's got mental health problems.
Yeah.
But
all the labels.
But something that, but we need to remember that, Irish people, English people, Scottish people were removed from their lands as well, and when you remove a child, an infant, rip them from their mother's arms, that is trauma. There's so many ways to traumatize a child, a baby. The trauma starts, and the trauma, that's the thing that we need to remember, the trauma is passed on. So,
and it affects the nervous system without you actually realizing that your nervous system has been affected. So therefore that child, even though it's a baby, you think that they don't remember it, but it changes the nervous system in the body.
It's like a frequency.
Gosh, I studied all this stuff, but it was like ages ago. So I'm like, I can't quite remember all the technical terms and stuff like that.
You just triggered something, Jazz. So I wanted to touch on that frequency, energy, vibration. That is what's missing in Western medicine. The Western world is still very behind. What they're calling New Age, what they're calling spirituality. These are all traditional practices that have been suppressed. So that was some of the fear that I was going through when I was awakening and I was healing, and I was like, people are going to call me a witch, and you're feeling like you're going through the whole witch trials, all over again, and having that fear that if I speak my truth, if I speak the truth, I will be prosecuted all over again. I'll be killed for who I am, and realizing that these are all traumas that have been passed down.
Yes.
Yeah.
And realizing the trauma that our people have gone through because of one, religion. And these are all uncomfortable topics that people are afraid to acknowledge, because if you take away the religion, if you take away your job, if you take away your nationality, for example, who am I?
Mm.
Who am I? These are all attachments. We need to remember, take away all the labels, take away everything. In essence, what are you? Who are you?
Yeah.
So
that's a good way to put it.
Absolutely. You nailed it on the head.
I think people that are watching this need to, if you haven't already, give it a go. Take those attachments away and just see what you come up with. Write it down. There's no right or wrong answer. And it's for you, Yeah.
And if you're looking for if you're searching for a deeper purpose in life, if you're searching for to find out who you are, just start taking all the labels away. Just ask yourself. And that's one thing also that I want to touch on is the spirit. The Western medicine, the Western world is behind because they refuse to take into consideration the spiritual aspect of health, the spiritual aspect of the body.
Can I just have I personally believe that they've actually removed it because they realize how powerful it truly is when you actually add that element in. And what happens is, by us knowing this information, it basically blows their plan out the water. It ends pharmaceutical industry, doctors, like all that kind of stuff. And the people at the top that are making money off all of that, they lose out on that as well. So I feel like it actually has been taken away, removed deliberately, because they know that how powerful it truly is when you do know this knowledge.
We can't make money if we're out there healing ourselves and from the land and our own knowledge.
And people, even his story, his story. Yeah, that's a triggering word for me. But if you want to talk history, go learn your history. Go learn what happened in the Dark Ages and why healers, women, anyone that was seen as a threat to the system was killed. So, why were you? And his story is repeating itself. So if you want to unravel, if you want to figure out the keys to the universe, if you want to start healing, you got to start noticing the patterns. You got to be a pattern breaker, pattern recognizer, whatever you want to call it. And the pieces of the puzzles will start coming together for you. So just start noticing the trends. Things repeat themselves for a reason.
Yeah, so absolutely.
There's definitely signs and synchronicities out there. The universe is alive and it's speaking to us through, nature, through the numbers. So when we're more aware and alert and tuned in to Mother Nature and who we are, we start to see these signs everywhere that are, directing us to where we need to be. But I could sit here and listen to you all day, honestly, because your kōrero just resonates with me and everything I've been through in the journey. And I think it's very important, like you said, not just the awakening journey itself, but the healing journey too, because it goes hand in hand, like
it's a part of it.
Absolutely, because when you do wake up to the corruption, there's it's a shock to the system. I remember going through a deep depression in 2020 when I first woke up, and I was like a fish out of water. I'm like, what the hell do I do? Like, my whole life has just been flipped upside down and everything is backwards and inverted. And but working through the past 2 years, it's been the most healing time for me, because I've had to really face my demons and deal with them head on. And by doing that, and just by talking and speaking out, that itself has been healing, expressing my truth, because I used to be quite a shy, introverted person. You wouldn't catch me like dare speaking about my opinion, and now you can't shut me up, so it's just it's so encouraging to know there's people like you out there. There's people making a difference, speaking out, and realizing the importance of that. And you're a sister that's out there helping people find their wings on their own personal journeys right now. So I want to thank you for that and for showing up in this space with us today. And is there any final words that you would like to say to the audience today?
I just want to say that, you're amazing, and that you're doing the best that you can with what you have, and to never underestimate, how strong you are. Everything that you've gone through up until this very moment has been there to help elevate you and to awaken your spirit. And and everything that's happening is happening for us and not against us. And
Yes.
so, keep going. I know life is hard, but, you can do it. And I believe in you. And I love you. And yeah.
Oh, that's
Don't
beautiful.
give up.
Yep. And one of our motto or saying is stay bold, stay beautiful, and stay true to you. That's the one. Yeah. There's a nice way to end this episode. Thank you so much for coming on, Elizabeth. I've absolutely enjoyed this corridor, and I've just sat back and just taken it all in, and I've resonated so much. So thank you so much for sharing.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Alicia. Thank you, Jasmine. Thank you for this honor. It's been amazing having to sit here and listen and learn from you too as well. All the best in your endeavors, and lots of love to you and your families.
Same to you, sis. Same to you, and much love. And thank you to everyone for tuning in today. If you haven't already, please subscribe to our channel down below. And if you think that someone that would resonate with this episode or is on the brink of their own awakening at this point in time, make sure you share the link with them. But thank you for tuning in, and much love. Ka kite.